Hi, I'm Beryl, and the theme for today's episode is pineapple. We have 5 pineapple dishes from 5 countries, and ladies, just a heads up, there are boys in this episode. Let's get started.
Hey Beryl, I'm Pauline. I live in Lisbon, Portugal, and I'm originally from the Netherlands. So the dish I want to tell you about today is called Kerrie Ananas Taart, which translates to chicken curry pineapple pie, which is quite a mouthful. Picture this. You have a buttery, flaky puff pastry crust filled with this nicely spiced, warm chicken curry, and then there's these little explosions of sweet and sourness from pineapple. I really love this dish because it's the perfect balance between sweet and sour and salty and savory, and it's warming, but it's actually not too heavy as well, so it's the perfect dish for any weeknight meal. Most Dutch people will have eaten some form of this chicken curry pie and think of it as typically Dutch. I mean, we use curry powder in lots of our food, and we even drench our French fries in curry powder. But the dish obviously leans heavily on our previous presence in the Caribbean, in India, and in Indonesia during colonial times. So I like to think of this dish as an ode to the multiculturality of the Netherlands. It's not rooted in any one cuisine, but it's made for all taste buds. You'll find a version of this, whether it's in a sandwich or in a pie, or most importantly with or without pineapple, in Dutch diners, in Surinamese and Indonesian tokos, and at your grandma's dinner table. So I've loved cooking since I was about 3 years old, and that's because my mum involved my sisters and I in the kitchen from a very young age. We'd each have our own signature dish, which we'd perfect and cook ourselves each time we wanted to eat that dish as a family. Mine was guacamole, and my little sister's was this chicken curry pineapple pie. So when I first started eating this, it was likely to be very undercooked or very oversalted because she was just learning how to cook. But as she grew up and as I grew up, we didn't have to pretend to like it anymore because she got really good at cooking, and it became my favorite dish at home. But for me, living far away from home, it's turned into a special occasion dish that I cook for friends when I'm feeling homesick. So I really hope you try this delightful dish from my multicultural home country. Just please, please, please don't burn your tongue.
Okay, this was really simple, but at the same time, really freaking hard to make. And I am buying a little time because I am gonna burn my mouth if I try to bite this right away. When Pauline and I were talking about the dish, she said, oh, by the way, you can do these as individual pies. And I was like, oh, that's gonna be so much easier. Love that idea. Pretty much all of my pies burst open, and I didn't film it because I was embarrassed. I think I overstuffed them, and even though I did prick holes in the top, I just think I overstuffed them. Do we think this is cool enough to eat now? I think it is. Ooh, flaky. Oh, could you see the heat coming out of that? Cut. Okay, the stuffing is so good. Pineapple and chicken is not necessarily a combo I think about, but wow, it's really good. I do want to mention the artist today. Her name is Jolanda Zürcher. She is an illustrator based out of Germany. I feel like looking at her pieces is kind of like looking at an I Spy. You can look at them for so long. There's so much detail in everything. I love her colors. I just love the vibe of these. I'm leaving a link to her socials in the description. You know what this needs? It needs some Maggi hot and sweet. I feel like this hasn't made an appearance in a while, but don't worry, I'm still best friends with it. Maggi hot and sweet. It's hot and sweet. Yeah, this is great. I also think that this filling, if you wanted to just have it with a bowl of rice, would be so delicious. It just was so simple to make that I don't feel like you can only try it if you're gonna make yourself a pie. You could just eat it on its own. It's that good.
Aloha, my name is Evan and I'm from Mililani, Hawaii, but I've been living in New York for the past 7 years. Today, I'm going to be talking about pineapple Saimin. Saimin is a Hawaiian dish whose name comes from Chinese for small and noodles, but the origins are a lot more diverse. Saimin looks very similar to a bowl of ramen. In fact, a lot of people in Hawaii call instant ramen saimin. A basic saimin will have a dashi broth, noodles, and toppings like green onions and kamaboko, which is a cured fish cake. Other toppings include spam, Portuguese sausage, egg, and chashu. This version is special because of the grilled pineapple used as a topping. Maybe it's the nostalgia, but I find saimin to be so warm and comforting. The flavor is a bit less salty than ramen, and the sweetness of the pineapple pairs really well with the ginger in the broth and also contrasts beautifully with the savory spam. To me, this dish honestly just tastes like Hawaii. Saimin is essentially the dish of Hawaii. You can get it at many fast food restaurants like McDonald's or Zippy's, but also get more upscaled versions at fancy restaurants. Eating saimin has been an important way for me to stay connected to my home. Moving all the way from Hawaii to New York was really difficult for me. I remember going to a 7-Eleven and being shocked when I found out they didn't sell any spam musubi. What I missed most about Hawaii was not the beaches or the weather, it was the food. So many of my memories from there are linked to food, from the potlucks to the luau's to just eating musubi on the beach. Eating saimin really reminds me of home. I'd actually never heard of pineapple as a saimin topping until I was making it and throwing in leftovers I had. I decided to try adding leftover pineapple to it and was amazed at the beautiful addition it made. Now, I grill the pineapple before adding it, and I think it makes the dish even more reminiscent of Hawaii. Because of how popular pineapple and saimin are, I think this is a really great example of Hawaiian cuisine and the many unique flavors and cultural influences that make it special. This dish is so ono, so I really hope you enjoy it.
The recipe has spam, and anytime there's spam in something, I just get very excited. And I want to say this before I eat. I want to do a spam episode. I did one in the very beginning of the channel before I was doing submissions from all of you, so please, let's do a spam episode. Email me spam dishes. Oh my god. Okay, let's eat this. This one has spam, pineapple, and the noodles. This broth is so good. This is the first time that I've used dashi powder in a soup, and the spam is super salty, and with the grilled pineapple and the broth, oh my god, this whole thing is one of my favorite soups I've ever had. That was a big bite, but I'm happy. I couldn't find samyang noodles, so these are udon noodles, which are an okay swap if you can't find the samyang noodles. I'm like really going to town on this because number one, I'm so hungry right now, and number two, it's just such a good dish. This soup is amazing. The combo is amazing. Let's do a spam episode. Before we get to the next dish, I want to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. BetterHelp is online customized therapy. A great way to think about therapy is to think about it through an analogy. It's like routine maintenance for your emotional and mental wellness. It's a way to invest in yourself to keep your body and mind healthy. To get connected to the right therapist, you fill out a questionnaire online and talk about your needs and wants and what you're looking to do for yourself in therapy. BetterHelp will take that information and then within 48 hours, find you therapists that match your specific needs. And if you don't like those therapists, you can keep switching until you find one that's right for you. You can meet with your therapist through video or phone sessions, and you have access to unlimited chat with them as well. As somebody who's been to therapy in the past, sometimes it is just really helpful to have somebody listen who has no judgment. Our friends are great, but sometimes a therapist is better. If you're interested in trying it out, you can use my code Beryl, and that will give you 10% off your first month at BetterHelp, that's HELP.com, and I'm leaving a link in my description. Now it's time for more pineapples.
Hi Beryl, hi friends. My name is Van. I am the daughter of Vietnamese immigrants, born and raised in the state of Ohio in the USA. The dish that I want to share with everybody today is called Canh Chua. Canh Chua literally translates from Vietnamese to English as sour soup. The sour in sour soup, or Canh Chua, actually references the tamarind in the soup broth base. It is balanced out with fresh herbs, juicy tomatoes, protein, funky fish sauce, and finally some really sweet and dynamic pineapple. I really love this dish because I think the pineapple in it becomes really satisfying and really succulent, rounds out the dish really well, and becomes a part of the dish that people might not really think a fruit is capable of becoming. It's also fun because it's different compared to the controversial, say, pineapple on pizza or pineapple rings on top of a Christmas ham. I think that the pineapple in this dish becomes something that is savory and dynamic and unexpected. And so I really hope people get a chance to try this wonderful, light yet hearty, comforting home-style dish that I think most Vietnamese family households are really fond and familiar with. It's definitely a dish that I think a lot of people have a lot of sentiment for. I know that I do. I think of my kind of arsenal of recipes that my mother passed on to me. Dishes like Chua, dishes like fried rice, dishes like braised pork belly. These are all dishes that definitely help to provide a little bit of a taste of home or a little bit of taste of your family's home cooking in a way that is adaptable, in a way that is attainable in most places where you go. Thank you so much for including me in a part of this wonderful community, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful experience in the culinary world. Bye.
This recipe really was hard. I struggled to understand the instructions. I also had to use quite a few replacements, which the recipe did offer me because I couldn't find some of the ingredients. I just think overall, this was one of the hardest dishes I've made on the channel, so I hope it tastes good. I'm gonna start with the stock. I'm just curious how it even tastes. It definitely has the sweet and sour flavors from the tamarind and the pineapple. So the stock, I think worked. I do think that I could have used a better piece of pork to make the base, or to be honest, I could have just bought it, but that's neither here nor there. I tried to do the whole thing. I'm excited to have some catfish. I freaking love catfish, and I just never find recipes that cook with it that often. For all of the struggle that I felt, and I will tell you, I was stressing in the kitchen, this tastes really nice. Does it taste like the 3 hours it took me to cook, not including the extra time because of filming? No. And that makes me a little bummed. Lemon basil is really nice. I never really know what else to do with it though. So now I have this kind of big bag of it. What else do I do with lemon basil? It's a good soup. I would just say, don't make the stock yourself because that's where all of my stress happened. I would start from the put the catfish with the pineapple into the broth section, and then I think you're gonna have a way better time. I appreciated the challenge, and I think that the challenge showed me a lot about how frustrating it can be in the kitchen when you don't know what you're doing and you just feel like everything you're doing is wrong. Trust the recipes, trust your gut, and just keep tasting. That's what I learned from this experience.
Hi, my name is Anacleto, I'm from Petrolina, Brazil, and I'm here to share with you about Delícia de Abacaxi. It means pineapple delightful. It is a dessert made of a layer of condensed milk custard, another layer of a chunky pineapple jam, and topped with whipped cream meringue. It used to be a really common dessert served on fancy dinners and family meetings back on 80s or 90s, but it's kinda outdated now, I don't know why. But I remember having this most of my life on Christmas time, when my mother used to make it, also my grandma used to make it, and also my aunties used to make it. So I can tell you that it is a really traditional Brazilian mother's recipe that is made it and served by every single family here. So the first layer is made of yolks, milk, and condensed milk. Just remember to stir every time to not get lumps. The second layer is made of chopped pineapple, sugar, and cloves. For the top, just beat the egg whites until fluffy, add sugar and heavy cream. Dispose the layers on a clear container, put to chill for at least 4 hours. And as we say in Portuguese, bom apetite!
This is kind of reminding me of a trifle, and I don't know if any of you watch Friends, but that episode when Rachel made the meat and dessert trifle, but this one is just dessert. I also want to say that I kind of feel like I made a custard, like not a totally real custard by the definition of maybe what a custard is, but I do think that this layer is a custard. I want to get, ooh. It's sweet and fruity. I'm not somebody who usually craves desserts after a meal. I just find things that are overly sweet to kind of like hurt my cheeks. I don't know if any of you feel that. This is definitely sweet, but the pineapple kind of is balancing it out. I like it. I really think we need to talk about this condensed milk pudding because, excuse me, Brazil, what? I just love condensed milk. I love it in coffee. I love it in desserts. I think the flavor of it is just, makes me happy. Oh, and by the way, I have left a link to Anacleto's YouTube channel. It is in the description.
Hi everyone, my name is Raymond. I live in New York City in America. The dish I'm sharing today comes from Cambodia. It's called Machu, which translates to sour soup. It's a sweet and sour soup with pineapple, tomato, and your choice of meat, usually chicken or fish. A huge helping of mint also adds a lot to the freshness. I like this dish because it's easy to make with standard supermarket ingredients. Cambodian restaurants are very rare in America, even here in New York City, so it's nice to have something quick and easy to make at home. Sour soups are pretty common in Cambodia, often containing tamarind as the source of sourness. Another popular variation, Machu contains lemongrass, galangal, turmeric, and water spinach. My parents often made sour soups when I was growing up. When I started cooking, this was the first Cambodian dish I learned to make, although a more stripped-down version. Savory pineapple soup is a pretty unique dish. I made this for several of my friends to introduce them to Cambodian cuisine. They all love the unique flavors, and I think you will too. Enjoy!
I did not realize how many soups we would have in this episode, but I love it. I like this one especially because very easy to make, and it's very much, at least for me as an American, it's definitely translated a dish, for Raymond from back in Cambodia into something that's easily accessible in any US grocery store. So shopping for it was one of the easier shops I've had to do. Wow. It's so interesting how you don't need to necessarily make these super complicated dishes to have flavors transport you. The combination of flavors here of the mint and the chili and the pineapple and all of the ingredients combined, it's not an American chicken soup, like at all. But it also wasn't a crazy complicated dish to make. Gosh, I really like pineapple and chicken together. Is this a common thing? I feel like maybe you hear about it on pizza, or like pineapple and ham. I don't know. I really like the pineapple and chicken. It's good. Let's get some mint in here. The mint just mint, man. I love the balance of how it's sweet and spicy. I just can't get over how simple it was to make. And I think this soup does a great job of challenging the idea that a lot of us have about how cooking outside of our culture can be super complicated and stressful. This wasn't stressful, and for me, it's such a new thing. And I love that. I just freaking love it. I've been doing this show for a while now, and I am just not bored of it yet. There's so much to learn about and taste in this world. You think you've done it all. Actually, who thinks that? The limit does not exist. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you all next week.